A few years ago, I was 16 to 17 years old, working as a waitress in a restaurant with two locations, one in my town, Restaurant A, and another about 30 minutes away, Restaurant B. I should mention that Restaurant B is in a rougher area, and many coworkers weren't from the best backgrounds. Nonetheless, they were sweet people, and I trusted them. I was trusted as a manager on Thursdays at Restaurant B, usually handling cashier/server/manager duties with the only other person, a cook I'll call Dave. In the restaurant, there's a front glass door for customers and a back wooden door, no window, used for taking out trash and such. One day, with no customers, I was in the kitchen with Dave and another cook about to leave. We're chatting, Dave in front of the back door, the other cook beside it, and me about 5 feet away from Dave in line with the door. Dave, holding a bag of trash, opened the door while facing me and talking. Behind the door was a person, a clear figure in a gray t-shirt, jeans, and a black hat. I glimpsed him for a second, long enough to know someone was there. Dave turned around, blocking my view, and the guy was gone. The other cook, seeing my face turn pale, joked about me looking like I'd seen a ghost. Oh, the irony. Dave, trying to calm me down, seemed freaked out too. When he asked what I saw, I described the person. His response shook me. Dave started crying, ran out with his phone, and stayed outside for nearly half an hour. When he returned, calmer but still nervous, he shared that about 10 years ago, his friend died in a car accident. The person I described wore the exact outfit his friend died in. Apparently, I wasn't the first to see the ghost. Dave mentioned his friend would appear when something happened to his family, like a premonition. As if that wasn't strange enough, that same night, something else happened that I believe was paranormal but could have been paranoia. At the register, still shaken, a huge crow hovered outside the front door, flying in place. It suddenly flew away, and a strange-looking man with a creepy smile approached, but didn't enter. Moments later, the crow returned, almost entering until another customer swatted it away. The man left without ordering or saying a word. I know it sounds unbelievable, but I hope someone reads this and understands what I went through is real. Everyone I know doesn't believe in the paranormal and thinks I imagine things.
I'm currently sitting on my front porch, smoking a cigarette. I can't bring myself to go back inside my house. There is someone in there. Just over 2 months ago, I moved into a new house after losing nearly everything to COVID. I won't go into details or draw this out. Typing this out is making my eyes well, and every hair on my body stand straight up, but damn it, I saw a human-shaped shadow in my walk-in closet. Am I going crazy? Maybe, but I know that I am not at the same time. Okay, this is what happened. I am lying in my bed browsing Reddit, and from the corner of my eye, I catch movement coming from my closet. Within literal milliseconds, I turn and see someone standing inside it, looking right at me. You guys, I flipped out, sprung up, ran out of my room, slammed the door, and grabbed a kitchen knife. I yelled and screamed about calling the police, that I had a knife, and basically acted like a scared monkey. No response. After about a minute of yelling and realizing I had left my phone in my bedroom, to call 911, I slowly peeked in. There was simply nothing there, you guys. Nothing. No one could have gone anywhere. I'm upset and terrified about this. I saw this person. I saw their shape. Their movement. Their arms. There was a humanoid figure in my closet, and that is all I know. I don't know what to do from here. So, for a bit of background, I'm half Filipino and half American. Every summer, my parents and I would visit the Philippines and usually stay at my grandparents' place. A week ago, my grandpa, on my mom's side, told me this true story from his youth. The way he said it, I noticed that he was still shaken and scared from whatever happened. Here's the story. Back in 1970, when my grandpa was 18, he was dating this girl who was a year younger than him for over a year. Let's call this girl S. S was beautiful, sweet, kind, and easy on the eyes, according to him. When summer started, S invited him to her parents' home in the province. S was currently staying with her aunt while she went to school in my grandpa's town. My grandpa was skeptical at first because the area that S lived in was quite rural and would take 5 hours to arrive by bus. But grandpa was infatuated with S, so he said, "Why the heck not?" So, with permission from his parents, he packed up, and he and S were on their way. When they arrived at her hometown, he noticed that a lot of people were staring at them. It was a small town, so the population wasn't that big. S showed him around, where the shops were, the diners, etc. But grandpa would notice people staring at them, and one time he heard a couple whisper, "A swang." If you're wondering what the heck an aswang is, in Filipino folklore, an aswang is a malevolent, shape-shifting, flesh-eating monster. By day they look and act like normal people, however at night they reveal their true selves. Back to the story, so S and grandpa arrive at S's house. It was a large, 3-story, wooden home. Grandpa then met S's parents. They greeted him warmly and invited him in, exchanging talks over dinner. Grandpa said that they seemed like a couple of nice normal people. On the first night, he was sleeping in S's room on the second floor. Grandpa woke up hearing a strange noise. The first thing he noticed was that S was gone. He assumed that she must have gone to the bathroom, so he lied down again. But the weird sound continued. It was coming from the floor above him. He said that it sounded like a cat scratching its claws on the wooden floor, accompanied by what sounded like a person mumbling. He tried to ignore it, but it started getting louder until he could hear multiple clawing noises from above, like multiple cats scratching on the wooden floor as well as mumbling. S still hasn't come back at this point, which made him worry. That's when he heard loud thumping from upstairs. Like a person jumping. Grandpa is really weirded out at this point, so covers his ears with his pillow. The next day, he told S that their cats were really loud, and that he couldn't sleep. S just looked at him confused and said, "We don't have cats, huh?" "That's weird, I could have sworn I heard cats last night," he said. On the second night, he was woken up again by the same sounds. He says, at that point, he was thinking, "What the heck?" Then he hears loud grunting from above, like an animal in pain. He tries going back to sleep, but then he's startled by what sounded like a roar. This continues for another day until on the fourth night. Grandpa decided he had enough. He was gonna man up, march upstairs, and see what the heck was going on. So, it was around 1 in the morning, according to him. He said it was strange because he didn't hear any more of the weird sounds, but he decided to go upstairs anyway. He tiptoed across the floor and reached the stairs leading to the 3rd floor. Once he reached the 3rd floor, he notices something weird. The lights wouldn't work, even though they were working fine before he went to bed. The only source of light was the moonlight which illuminated the interior. He makes his way to the room that was above him on the 2nd floor, where the sounds were coming from, and what he saw made the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. The floor was littered with claw marks, the windows were wide open, and there were blood stains across the floor. There were no signs of S or her parents anywhere. Freaked out, he went down back to the 2nd floor. But then, his nose caught a whiff of something he hadn't noticed before. It was coming from the kitchen. Curious, he went to take a look, but it was so dark that he could barely make anything out. As he walked, his hand touched something that felt like a large metal pot. He opened the lid. A great number of flies escaped. And his nose was assaulted by an extremely awful, putrid smell, that he said nearly made him vomit. It was so dark that he couldn't see what was inside the pot, so he immediately slammed down the lid and ran back to the room, and forced himself to sleep. The next day, during lunch, S's mother served dinuguan, animal blood that's been cooked and mixed with herbs and spices, but my grandpa excused himself and lied that he was sick. He didn't want to know what was in the food. S's mother tried to coax him to eat, saying that he'll regain his energy. This is when Grandpa takes the opportunity to find out the truth. You see, in the folklore, to identify whether or not a person is in a swang is quite simple. Observe their eyes. If your reflection is upside down, then they're in a swang. Grandpa stared at S's mom's eyes and reeled back in horror. his reflection was upside down. This is when the mom's expression completely changes. She went from concerned to angry and was glaring hard at Grandpa, an expression that basically says, according to him, you shouldn't have done that. That night, Grandpa doesn't waste time and immediately packs up and heads home, lying that there's been a family emergency, in order for him to go. He finally returns home and spent a lot of time inside his house in complete fear. The following month, he breaks up with S. She looked at him in sadness and said that she understands that it was a wise choice for him, but it was quite a shame. Grandpa ended the story. He says that it was a huge shame indeed because he really wanted to marry S.